Yo, welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy Envy. I know it's not fishing, but you guys just hang tight, man. Stick with it. You guys are gonna love this transformation, man. You guys check it out. I want to do more DIYs, but this is the before. This is the after. Check it out. What do you guys think? I'm gonna show you step by step exactly how we got it from before to after. Do take everything apart. Take the whole table. Take all the chairs apart. Right here, you're seeing me notice that all the bumps that this thing has, it did get warped. It did get tore up from prior. We had just bought this table, so we just thought we needed to definitely sand it. If you don't need to sand it, you guys can skip this step, but we definitely need to sand it. The lower the number, the finer it's gonna be. The higher the number, the more it's gonna be really rough. It's gonna really scratch it up. Me and my wife found out that we just needed the rough part. The other one, it really didn't scratch up the table too bad. It just did its job of basically taking off all those lumps that you just saw earlier. What I found easier was because it's really hard to see it, so I would sand and then go over it with my hand. As you can see, I just kept going over it with my hand. Wherever I felt a little bit lumpy, I just go back over it with the sander. Just keep hitting it with the sander. And again, I never used the 60. I just kept using the 220, and that did a great job. It makes it a lot easier. Do not start small because you're gonna be there for a long time sanding. And this is where we ended up using the wood glue. Now, again, if you don't sand, you don't need to use the wood glue, or it does help out for the touch-ups. You're gonna see right now in a little bit that we end up, the reason we're using the wood glue right here is because you can't see the particle board. And a few things that I've learned from painting is what little I do know. Whatever you see prior to paint, you're gonna see after. As a matter of fact, the paint's probably gonna enhance it. So if it's bothering you when you're just looking at it like that, then it's definitely gonna bother you when it's painted. You're definitely gonna notice it. Don't think the paint's gonna cover it up, okay? And here you're seeing us touch up any little, like right here where the table's dented, you're seeing us touch it up. So anything that's bothering you prior to paint, touch it up, fix it, and get it ready for paint. That's why they say get it ready for paint, because everything has to be basically perfect for paint. Okay, don't think that the paint's gonna cover up anything. It's not gonna cover up anything. And right here we started to prime. What I would recommend, we use the rough roller, but it had a lot of hairs, and I feel that the hairs were coming off. So if I was to do it all over again, I would use a foam, and I would try that out. If you have a spray gun, use a spray gun. That's the easiest thing you can use, the spray gun. But if not, if you are balling on a budget, use the rollers, but use a roller with the foam. I feel that one, it wouldn't have had little hairs coming off, and it'll make your job a lot easier. And let me tell you, using this with, dang, them flies were all over this, man. As soon as we brought out the primer, man, all them flies started coming around. I don't know. But okay, now me and my wife ended up sanding again and using the wood glue. We sanded again because there were spots that you could really tell, again, they were a little bit lumpy. So we ended up sanding it again, and we ended up putting on wood glue. Again, primer I think is really great, really great. All the primer is going to do is help you stick from the wood to the paint. The primer's in the middle, it's going to grab onto the wood, and then when you lay the paint on top, the primer's going to grab onto the paint. So primer is excellent, again, for seeing those spots that you feel that the paint's going to cover up. I'm telling you, if you can see it through the primer, you're gonna see it through the paint. And it's a great way, because this way you don't have to start sanding all over again. So I feel primer is right before you're gonna paint. If you see any imperfections, something that is really bothering you, fix it right then and there, because I'm telling you, the paint is not going to cover it up. Here we go painting. Now we didn't really cover up the brown spots because there was a little, and you're going to see that it really doesn't make a difference. You didn't even notice the primer and then the bald spots that we ended up adding the wood glue. It painted over everything. But again, the primer is just to help it grab, but it was little spots and we felt like it wasn't going to make a difference, and we were right. It didn't make a difference, but the primer does help. If you don't want to put primer, to each their own. Don't put primer. There's paints with primer, as a matter of fact. But the reason I like this step is, again, if you put primer, you can see the imperfection and then go back and touch it up, as opposed to if you paint it and then you're going to see it, then you're going to start sanding, and yeah, primer's a lot easier. I would say primer and then paint it. Okay, now this is just a clear coat. It's just to protect it. Again, it is a table, so I kind of felt like, man, if you guys have kids, you dang well know they're gonna scratch it, and I didn't want the paint to come off. So all this is, again, if you don't want to do it, if you're using it for something else, then don't. But I just used it just in case the kids scratched it, or again, it is a table, we throw our keys on there so it wouldn't scratch. And as of yet, it works. So I would recommend you using this just to protect your paint. And here's the legs that we're working on. Again, you do want to clean everything. If there's any little gunks or anything like that, or gum, or anything that's on the table and that dried on there, if you're able to clean it and peel it off, then of course you're going to see the paint, the old paint under it. So clean everything. This, I mean, it's tedious, and it really, I'm not gonna lie to you, it really sucks. The prepping took the longest, guys. The prepping always takes the longest. When you prep, basically I put cleaning under the prep. Cleaning and taping take the longest. So if you can take it apart, do yourself a favor and take it apart, man. It will make everything easier. Right now we're just cleaning it. As you can see, we already took it apart, and I'm spray painting it, but take it apart. If you can take it apart, take it apart. And when you do spray paint in a vented area, man, you guys don't want, we were outside and I could barely even smell the paint. Flies could smell the primer, let me tell you, but I could barely smell the paint. So be outside, guys. You guys don't want to be getting high and then lay on your table, end up laying out on your table, right? Spray paint outside. And on a good day, let me tell you, it was a little windy, so I was a little skeptical, but nothing ended up happening. But yeah, spray paint in a well vented area. And the best advice I can give you for spray painting is leave yourself some space, so this way you can hit all the different angles. You're gonna see me that I ended up grabbing one of the legs right now and moving it, because you do have to spray all around it. So I didn't really think of that until I started spray painting, and then I thought, man, it's really hard to get in there, and you don't want to be touching what you're spray painting. So to avoid touching it, just start spray painting it and leave it really isolated, so this way you can get all around it. And it also helps to have a fresh pair of eyes if you have somebody else, just so they can look at it, because after a while your eyes are just gonna think everything's black. Or like this one, I thought everything was black where the sun was hitting a different way, but then they can see it. So really have a fresh pair of eyes, that helps. Or walk away and then come back a little bit later. Now I will tell you this, try and spray paint it really quick and let it dry. Don't try spray painting, like if you see a spot, oh, I missed that spot. What you're gonna end up doing is having your paint run, which it did happen to us. It wasn't, you can't really notice it, but it did happen to us. So don't focus on one spot. Just let it dry and come back and hit it a little bit later. Now I find it way easier if you can tape like this. This is way easier. Damn, just like that. I find it way easier if you can tape like that. Alright, I didn't get the primer on the chair, but I ended up laying it down, and let me tell you, it was a lot harder like that. Like, because I had to wait for the primer to dry, then turn it around. So after it got done priming, I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna keep waiting because it's gonna be the same thing when I have to paint. I'm gonna have to paint it, then move it, turn it around, and lay it on its side, and it was just a big mess. So I got the idea, and then we just hang it. End up hanging it. It worked excellent, especially because you're able to turn it around. So if you can hang whatever it is you're painting without messing it up, because I wasn't painting the top yet. The top is gonna be black. So the bottom part of the chair, I ended up just, that's the only part that I was really gonna focus on. So it helped that I was able to hold it from there and just turn it around. It was way easier, way easier. And again, if you can take it apart, people. Oh my gosh, especially if you're gonna be painting 2 different colors. It makes it a world of a difference, man. It's way easier. I know you're gonna think, oh, I don't want to take it apart and put it all back together again, but you will get the job done quicker. Man, for me, it was way easier. I hated taping, man. I hate taping. I know everything looks like it's going smooth here, but it ended up taking us 2 days. Me and my wife started. The first day we did everything together. Right here I'm doing it by myself because my wife had to go to work. And I want you guys to notice this. Right here, if you guys notice that when I peeled back the paint, when I peeled off the tape, the paint came with it. So I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna get as close as I can with a paintbrush, because I'm gonna end up painting the top part the darker color. So if you're gonna do 2 different colors, the lighter color do first, and then spray paint the darker color second, because it'll cover it up. It's gonna be hard for you to cover it up unless you have primer. Then the primer will help it out. But if you want to skip that process, just do the lighter color first and then hit it with the darker. Again, if you can take it apart, it makes it way easier. I couldn't take the chair off. I couldn't take the back end off, man. I don't know. It was just stuck. Trust me, I couldn't take it off. I took off all the screws and I couldn't take it off. And take off all the screws, people. Don't be those people that leave the screws on and they paint over them. I took off all the screws, everything. This is just the bare minimum that I could do as far as stripping it down. So strip down everything so this way you don't paint over it. As I was showing you earlier, when I was flipping the chair around, I noticed how dirty it was. I forgot that we hadn't cleaned the back, so here I am cleaning the back of the chair, man. Again, the part that's going to take the longest is the prep. The prep always takes the longest, man. And if you have a spray can, or if you're going to spray paint it, man, it's way easier than painting. Way easier, but yo, balling on a budget. Again, people, the prep work, man. And the fact that I was about to spray the black, I had to make sure that I completely taped all of the light spots, all of the gray. I had to make sure that I completely covered it all, because, man, if I would have got any paint on that, it would have just ruined it. So this part, absolutely, oh my gosh, can't tell you enough how much I don't like that. It has to be done, people. And here we go, painting the black. Again, you want to give yourself a little bit of space, so this way you can see everything that you haven't spray painted, or so you can do a whole 360 walking around it, making sure that you got every spot. If they're too close together, which I probably could have gapped these out, but again, I only had a little bit of space to paint, so that's why they were a little bit closer, but it was enough for me to be able to look at all the angles and spray paint everything. Alright, I'm checking under, checking everything, make sure I saw everything, making sure. I should have probably let it dry a little bit more because, again, it ran on me again, but you can barely notice it. But yeah, try to let it dry and then come back and hit it. Walk around and check it after it's dry and spray it again after it's dry. This is the before, guys. Again, thank you guys so much for staying tuned, watching the whole video. I put everything back together. Again, this is the before and this is the after. Let me know what you guys think. Did we butcher this chair, the table? Did we bring it back to life? You guys let us know. I do want to keep doing more videos like this. I know I have a fishing channel, but there are, during the winter time when it gets really cold and the fishing for me really dies off. Like, the bite is extremely difficult because it does. They don't completely stop, but it's extremely difficult. And I hate being in the cold, guys. I absolutely hate the cold. So I want to do videos like this. There's one video that I want to do with my hat. As a matter of fact, this one, my boy Jay hooked me up. You'll appreciate it. This part, I do want to paint black. I do want to see how it comes out black. So if you guys want to see videos like that, I do want to keep posting videos like this of DIYs. Again, when I'm not fishing. This is a fishing channel, I know, but when I'm not fishing, I do want to do other things. I want to keep this channel going. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys like these videos. Let me know if you guys don't. And again, if you guys only clicked on this and this is your first time seeing my channel, hey, you guys, I do also fishing videos. Go check out the fishing videos. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for all your support. Man, love y'all. God bless. Till the next